Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. When all the transactions take place in front of the knower, how can there be a flood of ignorance? What do we attribute the ignorance? We say, I am ignorant. Are we stupid or what? All knowledge is taking in front of your eye, in front of you, the conscious principle. If something is happening, that is also known to you. Something is not happening, that is also known to you. The phenomena of manifestation and unmanifestation, it can only happen in the presence of the observer, in the presence of the consciousness. And you are that because you know waking, dream, deep sleep is coming and going, thoughts are coming and going, breath is coming and going. So how can there be ignorance? If knowledge is taking place, how can there be ignorance? And that is what the teacher here was saying, that this consciousness is the only reality. It is and the I thought can be absent. I know this, I am observing this, I am seeing this, I am hearing this. This I thought can be absent, but the consciousness in the presence of which the dichotomy of aham and idam is taking place, which is called a thought, which is called the language, or the whatever you may call it. That never comes and goes. The waker eye comes and goes, the dreamer eye comes and goes, and there is absence of both of them in the deep sleep. But this consciousness that I am, in whose presence this triad, subject, object, and the instrument of knowledge, this comes and goes. I know they are coming and going, whether you take it at microcosmical level or at macro level. Macro level will be waking, dream, deep sleep. Micro level will be every thought, every breath, every emotion, every seeing, every hearing, every touching, every feeling. See? So, conclusion, consciousness can never be absent. This is the Vyomavad, which he did in Kathopanishad. There is not nothing. No, there is. I am without a thought is the consciousness. I am always. I have never gone out of existence. And towards this, the Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, I is ever present. It is because of this amness, pure consciousness, the Sadvastu, that everything is possible. If this Sadvastu, this consciousness is not there, mind cannot think, senses cannot see, hear, touch, feel and taste, intellect cannot ideate. So what is that Sadvastu? Seek that, be that. Why seek? Be that. Again, in seeking, we are creating a distance. That's, oh, I'm not there, I have to get there. Be that. Pure consciousness, on the ocean of bliss alone are the waves and ripples of bliss. There is no question of ignorance or misery. This is what one of the thoughts that came many pages ago, that the ripples and on the river are born out of the desire to meet the ocean. So they are born, the waves on the river are born out of the motion, and that motion is caused by the desire to meet the ocean. What are the ripples on the ocean due to? The ripples on the ocean, the waves on the ocean are due to the inherent completeness of the infinite waters. There is no purpose. The ocean doesn't need to reach anywhere. It is not traveling from point A to point B like a river. There is movement in the river also, there is movement in the ocean also. But the movement in the river is with a purpose to meet the ocean. The movement in the ocean is to be with itself. And both places the waves are getting created. So what are the waves? The thought waves. Are the thought waves out of desire, or are the thought waves, what is our disposition towards it? Everything I am. If everything I am, then every thought also I am. In the dream, every thought, every emotion, every triad of every person, every triputi of every person in the dream is nothing but the mind only, isn't it? Right or wrong? Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way, same thing is here. We don't realize it, that's all. And that realization is not by going and opening the brain of every person and see if it is the same thought which I was thinking. It is subjectively you have to go. You have to expand. You have to get out of the way. Rather than crystallizing this consciousness, our thoughts should be, or our intention, attention should be that this consciousness is infinite, and towards that this whole, all the scriptures are taking us, guiding us. So how in the presence of the consciousness, what is the material of the thoughts that are appearing in the mind? What is the material out of which the thoughts are created? I'm asking.
Consciousness itself.
Take one step lower.
Mind.
The thoughts are made out of the material called mind. Mind is nothing but consciousness. So, how can thoughts be foreign to the mind? Thoughts are also, it's a phenomena, no doubt. Wave is also a phenomena. In the relative sense, they are seen. You are seeing the wave, but when you go to experience it, you experience only water. So we are experiencing, we are seeing the thought coming and going, but when we delve into it, when we go to touch the wave, so how do you touch the wave? You become one with it. How do you become one with it? Vaikhari madhyama pashyanti vara. You will find it is nothing but consciousness. And that I am. It's so freeing, this thought. But at the same time, if not interacted without ego, or sorry, if interacted with ego, that I am everything, it will lead to fear, it will lead to load, it will lead to, oh, I don't want to take this responsibility of this whole world. See? वो कितना मजेदार है. There is no thought which is other than consciousness. There is no wave which is other than water. There is no ornament which is other than gold. So is my good thought and bad thoughts also nothing but consciousness? Yes. Devas and Asuras, they did not come out of somewhere else. They came out of Ishvara only. At one place he became the Deva, and another place became Asura, and the game of creation keeps going on. That's our story also. Good thoughts and bad thoughts. But God has not lost the plot. We have lost the plot. So get on top of it. Simple. These type of thoughts are worthy of contemplation. It will take you straight to the core. No beating about the bush. There is no question of ignorance or misery. Then we understand the statements of Ram Sukdas Ji Maharaj, Swami Ram Sukdas Ji Maharaj, or Bhagwan Raman Maharishi Maharaj. What is that? When people keep pestering them, Swamiji, it is paining, you should treat the cancer, you should go to the hospital, you should take the medicine, blah, 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 blah. And yet, he does it for their sake, but the cancer keeps growing. And when he gets tired of their words, he says, I am the cancer. Story over. Then why was he going to the hospital and all? Because of the insistence of the devotees. See? If one calls this consciousness in whose light the vyavahara, transaction or interplay of knower known goes on as ignorance, then what can the pure knowledge be called? Taya nav ajnana aise tari jnana hoave te kaise yerui kahi te ase atma kai. If that is called as ignorance, then how will you define knowledge? In fact, whatever that exists is pure knowledge, the self. So what is knowledge? Sorry, what is ignorance? I'm asking. Till now, whatever we have studied, what is ignorance?
That is present in its own absence.
That is which is existing in its own absence. Good. That, remember that always. And that ignorance is equal to nama roop, name and form. But just now you said every thought is equal to consciousness. Now you are saying ignorance is equal to nama roop. This is the contradiction. Now you have to suss out between these two and come to be and accept everything. What will be the angle of looking? What will be the approach of the gold when it is looking at the ornaments? I'm asking. What will be the approach of water when it is looking at the waves? What will be the approach of the mud when it is looking at the pots? What will be their approach?
It's all me. Oh, it's my belief.
Me in different forms, Swamiji.
Okay. Anyone else?
It won't think anything, Swamiji. It just feels as if it is looking at itself.
First statement was correct. second statement was also correct. What both of you, other two people, Usha and Nagaraj, what you said is from, you are approaching it from relative, how you look at the world. So you are looking at the waves or the ornaments. But if you are the substratum, if consciousness is this, if water is the substratum, if it is everything, is there anything for it to observe? Is there any, see, a thought will appear only if there is otherness, sense of otherness. Correct? Subject-object dichotomy, consciousness is one, it appears as subject-object. So this dichotomy is only possible when objectivity comes about. But from water's point of view, there is no objectivity towards the wave. So will a thought of wave appear in the mind of ocean? Will a thought of ornament appear in the mind of in the gold? No. You are looking, you as a seeker, you, me, we are looking at the pots, we are looking at the ornaments, we are looking at the waves. But what was my question? What will be the approach of the water towards the waves? What will be the approach of the gold towards the ornaments? It won't even say, I alone am, because there is no otherness. See? Because no thought will appear. There is no otherness, then there is no thought. And when he is saying that it is seeing itself, yes, it is seeing itself. What is that called in our scriptures? It is seeing without a seer. It is hearing without a hearer. It is knowing without a thought, because consciousness is all-knowing principle. So how is it knowing? Without a thought. Knowing what? I alone am. There is no objectivity. Don't take the same rules of engagement that we have in the relative world when I ask these questions. It cannot be how we interact with the world, how we think. You have to get out, step out of this mind, and then contemplate how the water is thinking about the waves, or gold approach. What is the approach of the gold towards the ornaments? So in Shankaracharya says it's an experience-less experience. It is a knowing-less knowing. Meaning there is no I. For all purposes, you see a saint or a sage, he is moving around, he is eating, he asks, he rejects, everything is going on. But in him, no thought is created. This you and me, we cannot understand, because we are living at subject-object level. We have to transcend that. And then that cannot be thought about. That disposition cannot be thought about. It happens. That sage is not thinking, okay, I am behaving like this, I should behave like this. No. He is ever alert towards the conscious principle that he is, and continuously abiding. To that consciousness in whose light all the vyavahara of the knowing and not knowing is going on, can you give the name of ignorance? Again, the student is coming back to ignorance. Yaar, ignorance kya hai? I also said it is name and form, right? So same thing he is saying. But where Jnaneshwar Maharaj takes us, we'll see. To that consciousness in whose light all the vyavahara of knowing and not knowing is going on, Can you give the name of ignorance? If this is the nature of ignorance according to you, then how will you define knowledge? So all vyavahara, what is vyavahara? In one nutshell, where is vyavahara taking place in a nutshell? Where is vyavahara taking place? Where is transaction taking place in a nutshell?
In the mind.
Yes, in the waking plus dream, and in the sleep. So these are the three places the vyavahara is taking place. And that is what he is saying, that you know the waking and dream and you don't know the sleep, right? This is this knowing and not knowing when he is talking about. The vyavahara of knowing and not knowing is going on. Can you give the name of ignorance? Can you call waking, dream and deep sleep, which is the vyavahara, can you call it ignorance? It is the nature of ignorance according to you. What is the nature of ignorance? To manifest as the subject-object dichotomy. And that subject-object is then getting divided. We say that according to Sattva, Rajas, Tamas as waker and waking world. Subject is the waker, object is the waking world. Dreamer is the subject, object is the dream world. And absence of the both is the deep sleep. This is what we say, isn't it? Is this all ignorance? It is. Then how will you define knowledge? Okay, ignorance is absent. Waking, dream and deep sleep is coming and going. That which comes and goes is not real. That which is relative, that which is phenomenal, that which is ephemeral. And what is that which comes under these 3-4 words that I have used? What comes under it is waking, dream and deep sleep. Oh my God, that means everything that I have created in the waking for myself, it's only absence. Yes. This can be appreciated only by a person who is committed to being the consciousness. He may or may not have realized, but if he is committed to it and is thinking, if these words are gelling in your mind, then the value giving to this world, the value giving to the objective world, it will keep reducing. Just as when you go to sleep, the value of the world, including this body, including the mind, everything keeps reducing till you surrender to sleep. Same way, when we are attentive towards the conscious principle, then the value giving to this world, this body, this mind, it keeps reducing. Meaning, in other words, the world of objectivity, is it there? Who cares afterwards? Do you care about the dream world after you wake up? You don't. Is it there? Who knows? Why think about it? If you think about it, you will get caught up in it. You will caught up in imagination. You will get caught up in fantasy. You will get caught up in wool gathering. So entertain only thoughts which take you to the core, which guide you to the core. If this is the nature of ignorance according to you, then how will you define the knowledge? Therefore, all that exists, all that is the pure self. Other than that, nothing else is. This is the acme, the highest goal. Sa kashta sa paragatihi, in Katha Upanishad it came. Everything is the expression of that one truth, not of ignorance. So we don't take anything as an expression of ignorance. This is the ultimate. Initially we do take, this is not me, this is not me. Then we say, this is all me. I am in all and all is in me. All in one in all. This is the position of Ishvara. All in me, all in one and one in all. But is that the ultimate? No. Then there is one more step, the absolute. Here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is talking about going beyond all in one and one in all. Nothing else but for explanation purposes, this type of language is used, but this language has its own limitations because it's a limited expression which is trying to put in words that disposition or that reality which is one without a second. We are trying to how it looks at everything, how gold looks at all the ornaments. We are trying to put that vision which does not fall within the purview of the words. But words are the only means of communication for us. This is why Keno Upanishad said, the teacher said, I can only teach you like this. I don't know. It is your problem, you understand or you you have to make yourself prepared to understand this. I can't teach you anything more. Because my teacher taught me like this. See. Therefore, this ignorance has to be totally removed from our understanding that there is nothing called ignorance. When we say ignorance, immediately we create duality. What is the duality? There is knowledge and there is ignorance. Duality. The moment you say ignorance, then the opposite of it is knowledge. The moment you say front, immediately back is created. The moment you say top, then bottom is created. The moment you say outside, then inside is created. The moment you say ignorance, knowledge is created. That's why he is asking such question. Then what is knowledge? And the teacher is saying, get out of this knowledge and ignorance business. Just be. Therefore, this ignorance has to be totally removed from our understanding. Then what should take its place? That everything is that divine. That's when a devotee is born. That's when a saint is born. Looking at everything as divine. Again, this language which I am using is again of a duality. Everything means variety. Sant Maharaj now proceeds, Sant Jnaneshwar Maharaj now proceeds to demolish the various authorities of knowledge, pramana, that have been used for establishing ignorance one by one, step by step. तो कभी भी अपने जीवन में ऐसे नहीं बोलना चाहिए. Never you should say this. I don't know. Never say I don't know. Nowadays kids, what do you want to eat? I don't know. You want to go to see the movie? I don't know. Did you take shower? I don't know. It's the best mantra. I don't know. When you say I don't know, you're moving away. You're going to the source of all variety. In relative terms, ignorance. Out of deep sleep came the waking and dream. So you're going back to deep sleep. I don't know. Deep sleep state is I don't know state. That's what we have come to we have been using that rule. But here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is taking us beyond. He says, don't get lost in I don't know. Get out of that mindset. There is nothing called don't know. You are of the nature of consciousness. You are of the nature of light. I'll tell you something else. The secret of the form. Light traveling at a great velocity gives rise to form. Water moving at a particular velocity gives rise to waves. Similarly, the whole expanse of the universe with so many galaxies and planets and suns and objects on this earth itself, every object, as you say, is nothing but light moving at different velocities. Moving at different velocity. That same water, when it becomes a whirlpool, it is able to suck everything into its womb, isn't it? It's water only. Then why you are calling it whirlpool? It's good because of its velocity, because of its movement, it is creating a new form. But what is that form made up of? Water only. Does normal water suck anything? No. What does whirlpool do? Anything that it comes in its periphery, it sucks it in. So, every one of us is a whirlpool. Sucking away, demanding attention, imposing ourselves like that whirlpool. See? So, what I want to make the point here is, everything is water, but appearing as a wave, as a whirlpool, as a rapid, as a froth. Everything is water. Similarly, everything in this creation is nothing but that light of consciousness. And that is giving rise, that consciousness. What is its nature? Its nature is all pervasiveness. From the consciousness point of view, there is no world. From pure consciousness point of view, there is no world. From Ishvara's point of view, he is undisturbed by the world. Why? The potentiality within him is quiet. And when she becomes activated means movement. What is the activation? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Then the totality comes, then the individuality comes. And in individual, activation is a little bit more than anywhere else. We reel under the thoughts and emotions to the extent that we become depressed and suicidal also. You cannot see that happening with God, with Ishvara. Never. So where has the whole world appeared from? From the Shakti, from the potentiality. That potentiality by nature, remember this, that potentiality, is it separate from the divine? No. Is the light separate from the sun? No. Is the potentiality separate from the wielder of the potentiality? No. But the conscious principle is the non-doing principle, and the Shakti principle, the potentiality, the inherent potentiality, of the Ishvara, of the conscious principle. By nature, she keeps moving. What is its movement? Manifestation and unmanifestation, involvement and withdrawal, expansion and contraction. This is called the spand. And when this spand becomes too activated, forms start appearing. When it is less activated, forms start disappearing. This is your experience every night. You understand? Look at the whole world in this way. मजा आ जाएगा. Look at the whole world in this manner. So it's just activation of your potentiality, meaning your own mind. When it is overactivated, too many thoughts. Less activated, less thoughts. It's not activated. It's not activated means it is not manifesting. It's silence. But is that activation and non-activation, meaning waking and dream and deep sleep? Activation, waking and dream. Non-activation, deep sleep. Whose potentialities? The mind. What is the mind? Nothing but the consciousness. देखो कितना मजेदार है एकदम. So beautiful. In the relative world, with reference to the thoughts, the same consciousness is called as mind. But when there are no thoughts, the same mind is called as consciousness. Because you are using different words. Has consciousness vanished? No, it's still the same. You are using different words for it, what to do. Because that's the norm of the relative. We haven't transcended the relative yet. If I transcend, then will the relative continue? For whom? For whom will it continue? The relative experience of the dream world with your family, everything, are you available for it to continue? After you wake up, is it continuing? Oh, so that means same thing will happen to this waking world also. But I invested so much in this world. I have created families. I am a support for so many good causes. I got my business. I got my job. I got my people look up to me. I am teaching. What will happen? Who cares? Do you care about the dream? No. So keep looking at that wholesome principle as the self. This I, what is this pure consciousness? This is I without a thought. When I appears as a thought, it is always with reference to some object. So it appears as waking I with reference to the waking world. It appears as dream I with reference to the dream world. So there is some object there. What is that? The dream world. Here is the waking world. The wife appears only with reference to the husband. Otherwise, she is a woman. And from the way Jnaneshwar Maharaj is explaining, that reference also is nothing but pure consciousness. Right now we are caught up in, we are listening in duality, we are trying to understand it in duality. I am listening and I am trying to understand, I am trying to be convinced, I am allowing myself to be contemplative. But while I am doing all this, can I be the consciousness also? Yes, you are. There, you can never be not the consciousness. Let the mind think that I am understanding, but you stand apart. Stupid fellow. He's saying, the mind is saying, I am able to understand, which cannot be understood. And he's saying, I am understood. But the pure consciousness will not make this statement. It's only watching. Acha, drama acha chal raha hai. There is no one way that we can put it. Scriptures give us different approaches. Why? So that we don't form an idea in our mind that consciousness is like this. Consciousness is not like this or that. Consciousness is. And therefore, the various Upanishads, one place it says, Ishavasam idagam sarvam. Then immediately, Keno Upanishad says, we don't know how to teach. Coming to 102, काहीच जया न होणे होयते स्वतः नेणे शून्याची देवागणे प्रमाणासी. That which does not undergo any modifications, that which does not know itself, in the courtyard of that divine truth, all the means of knowledge become null and void. One statement, in one statement, he refutes everything. That which does not undergo any modifications. What is modification? Birth, growth, disease, decay, and death. Expansion and contraction. No modifications. What else is a modification? Apart from birth, growth, disease, decay, and death. Thoughts are modifications in the mind, isn't it? No thoughts. That which does not undergo any modifications. So from water's point of view, there are no modifications of waves. From gold point of view, there are no modifications of called ornaments, because it is still complete from its point of view. No modification. That which does not know itself, how can it know itself? Our understanding of knowing itself is through thoughts. When it is all that there is no objectivity. How will it say, I know myself? This idea that I don't know and I want to know is only in the relative. I want to realize this thought can never come to the pure consciousness. I want to realize this thought is possible only in an individual who feels he is limited, who is at the mercy of modifications, who wants to be free of all the modifications. The idea of immortality is for the individual. It is not for the infinite consciousness. It is complete. Knowing and not knowing is possible only in the relative. This language of knowing and not knowing is only possible in the relative. In the absolute, then we have to explain something. So we say knowing less knowing. And that is called here as that which does not know itself. It's a knowing less knowing. It is of the, now don't take knowing means thoughts. No. Knowing means illumination. Chit. It means illumination. It's of the nature of illumination. It's of the nature of light. And light does not need to say, I am light. That which does not know itself, in the courtyard of that divine truth, all the means of knowledge become null and void. We saw the means of knowledge before in one of the verses, but here he's going to look at it. All of them he's going to look, or what he's going to do, we'll see. The self is that which does not modify. The Atman is not born, he does not die, he does not spring from anything, and nothing springs from him. Unborn, eternal, everlasting, ancient, he is not slain, although the body is slain. This is in Kathopanishad. What is the verse? The verse is Part 1, 2nd chapter, 18th verse. Part 1, 2nd chapter. This comes in Bhagavad Gita also. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् विपश्चित् नायं कुतश्चिन्न बभूव कश्चित् अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. न जायते म्रियते वा कदा विपश्चित्. This Atman is na jayate, is not born. Mriyate, does not die. He does va vipaschit, na ayam kusaschit, babhuva kaschit. It does not spring from anything, and nothing springs from him. Ornaments don't come out of the gold. Neither gold becomes ornament. Understand this statement. Neither the waves come out of water, neither the water becomes the waves. Exactly, continue the example. Neither the thoughts come out of the consciousness, nor the consciousness becomes the thoughts. Meaning, neither the thoughts come out of the mind, nor the mind becomes the thoughts. Mind is ever the same. That is consciousness. It's a big jump in your disposition, if you can catch it. अजो नित्य शाश्वतोयम पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Ajaha, then what is this Atman? It is unborn, Ajaha, and then Nitya, it is eternal, Shashvataha, it is most ancient, and Purana is ancient, Shashvatam everlasting, and na hanyate hanyamane sharire, neither can it be, is not slain, and even when the body is destroyed. Even when the body is destroyed, because the nature of the body is to come and go. But what is the nature of Atma? It neither comes nor goes. The ornament comes and goes, but does the gold come and go? The wave comes and goes, but does the water come and go? Water remains water. Exactly the same verse is there in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Instead of vipaschit, it is something else. So, na hanyamane sharire, when this body, this modification called the body, when it goes out of existence, when the modification called the wave goes out of existence, the water doesn't go out of existence. When the ornament goes out of existence, the gold doesn't go out of existence. When the thought goes out of existence, The consciousness doesn't go out of existence. That was the verse from Katha Upanishad. We have seen it before. The fire can never know its own heat. The eyes cannot see themselves. The mind cannot perceive itself. In the same way, the Atma Tattva cannot be known by itself, but that does not mean that it is ignorance. Because it cannot know itself does not mean that it is ignorance. That because of which every pramana, means of knowledge, has got its authority, how can it fall under the purview of the pramanas? That because of which all the means of knowledge we have come to know. Because we are conscious, so we have the means of knowledge, we have the authority of knowledge. How can that which is transcendental to all the pramanas, how can it come under the clutches, under the purview of the pramanas? That because of which this body is functioning, how can that come under the influence, come under the jurisdiction of this body? Cannot. So whether this body is there or not there, nothing happens to consciousness. Whether the breath is there or not there, nothing happens to consciousness. Whether the thoughts are there or not there, nothing happens to consciousness. Think. So this is the truth. But how we are living? Exactly the opposite. If something happens to the body, we complain. If something, we are not able to breathe properly, we become disturbed. If mind is not able to think, we say we have got dementia. And we start worrying. If body is getting old, we are afraid of death. And who are we? Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. See. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. But we keep forgetting that, and we keep identifying with the body. We keep identifying with the ephemeral, with the phenomenal. And then we have to face the consequences of giving attention to the phenomena. The pramana vichar becomes null and void in the courtyard of the divine truth. All the pramanas disappear because the pramanas gain their authority from the truth. If the truth is not, what I just said, the possibility of feeling the emotions, possibility of feeling, coming to convictions, the possibility of thinking about the world or thinking about the consciousness, all this is happening because you are alive. Because there is consciousness. Therefore, the mind is able to think. Therefore, the thoughts are coming. But how does humans live? If the thoughts are not there, make it into a disease. If the body is not functioning, make it into a disease. So all pramanas are because of the truth, and truth is unaffected, uninfluenced, unentangled by all the pramanas. Pramanas, authority of knowledge. And that's why our scriptures, which are authority of knowledge, what do they say? That even we cannot explain that disposition. We can only give you a direction where to look. We can give you the analysis of it. But you are that. And when you are that, even we become null and void. Who? The scriptures. You can say it become null and void. The other way you can say is that because consciousness alone is everything, It is the expression of consciousness, the scriptures. But because right now our attention is, we are studying Amrutanubhava, after 10, 20, 15 minutes, we will not be studying it. So it's out of the, we are not giving attention to it anymore. So we are living in a world of duality, coming, going, involvement, non-involvement. Now we are involved with it, after some we will be not involved in it. And the scriptures are telling us, rather than remaining in this yo-yo, remain as the constant one. And not only as that constant one. The more we remain as the constant one, that constant one by nature is all pervasive. By nature. By nature it is infinite. By nature it is the center everywhere. Other than it, nothing else is. Nanasti kinchana. And you are that. Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Contemplate in this manner. In this way, Jnaneshwar Maharaj tries to make the seeker supportless, to discover that I am the support of everything. I am not the supported, to go beyond the limitations of any pramana. This is the whole angle of approach of the scriptures. We who are crystallized consciousness, scriptures are helping us to decrystallize. Crystallized is the ice cube. Decrystallization of ice cube will lead to water. This is only an example. I don't think now the consciousness goes like this, but if you can appreciate. When the ice starts melting, the crystallization starts going in the opposite direction. It becomes water. The ice cube becomes water. The pervasiveness of the water is much more than the pervasiveness of the ice cube. Continue the tapasya, continue the attention on the water. What is its source? The water becomes water vapor. Water vapor area of influence is much, much, much larger than the water. Exactly the same way. When we move, the area of, as we move away from our individuality, how do you move away from individuality? On one hand, you don't give too much importance to the world, to the phenomena, and remain attentive of the conscious principle as the presence in front of which everything is taking place. These are the initial steps. The more we remain attentive of the conscious principle, the constant principle, slowly decrystallization of what? Of your personality. Where is that personality? It's only an idea in your mind. It's only an idea in the mind that I am an individual. Actually, nothing like this is. Where this idea of I am an individual go away when you go to sleep? Where does the idea of that I am an individual in the dream, when you wake up, where does it go away? It never existed. There's no place for it to go also. It was just an apparition. It was just a phenomena under certain circumstances. Again, those circumstances created by the mind. It's the play of consciousness with itself, and in that you got caught. is the play of water with itself, became a whirlpool, and you got caught. The same water which created the whirlpool, and itself gets caught into the water, into the whirlpool, and then screams, I don't want to go, but you are the water only. Whirlpool is also made up of water only. This is how we function. The scriptures are helping us. You cannot stop the whirlpool from not forming. You cannot stop the waves from not forming. You cannot stop the movement of the river from not forming. You cannot stop the waves on the ocean from not forming. You recognize that you are the water. Then whether you are in a wave, or whether you are a drop, or whether you are a froth, or whether you are in a whirlpool, doesn't matter. Phenomena will continue. Arjuna became afraid of the total phenomena, Virat Roop, in 11th chapter. He became afraid. A fear only came because he saw himself separate from the Virat Roop. So the scriptures are only helping us to discover our true nature and to make the seeker supportless. The support that we have is of the thoughts. Support that we have is of the objectivity. We want a crutch, not crush, crutch. We feel to live in this life, I need a partner. To live in this life, I need teacher. To live in this life, I need wealth. To live in this life, I need food. To live in this life, I need a healthy body. To live in, and the list goes on. Let it go on, but in your mind, in a deep core of yourself, I don't need anything. I am everything. I am all that there is. Keep that disposition. Don't get caught up in anything and let the phenomena continue. Nothing wrong. That knack you have to develop. Or when you think like this, it will get developed. It will just happen from one moment to the next. You cannot drop it afterwards. Live in abandonment. That is sannyas. Not running after anything, not running away from anything. Then just being. Then and then alone the revelation will happen. To discover that I am the support of everything, I am not the supported. Right now we are living as if I want the car insurance, I want the health insurance, I want the home insurance, I want the contents insurance. So I want to have insurance of the contents of my mind. What is that? Memories. How do you take out an insurance for your memories? You collect photographs and videos of all your memories, that in the future, when I get old, I might need all these. Because what is life without family? What is life without memories? Did we ever say, what is life without being realized? See the joke. So we take out these insurances. And these insurances are what our Swamiji says. We surround ourselves with possessions and relations. Because we are afraid. This is the insurance. If something happens to me, someone is there to take care of me. If something happens to me, there is money. I can go to India. I can go to the doctor. I can have private hospital insurance. Let it all go on, but don't get caught up in it. That because of that is your existence. Here, Swamiji is saying, I am the support of everything. This disposition is only possible when you take the position of being the consciousness. Not tomorrow, right now. I am the support of every understanding, every thought, every sensory stimuli, every understanding. It's happening in my presence. Take that position. You'll keep slipping, keep coming back, keep coming back to the disposition that all knowledge is taking place in my presence. And then that starts happening. We start being a positive force in the society. We support everyone. Physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, by way of company, by being available to listen to them in different ways, without complaining. Joyfully, we do all this. When you do it joyfully, then no memory is created. Whatever is happening is happening. If there is a reaction to all this, then problem. Again you have crystallized. Again you have crystallized into an individual. Consciousness, pure consciousness, supports everything. Another way to look at it, pure consciousness supports all the thoughts. When it supports all the thoughts, it's called mind. Now mind, what thoughts does it support? 3 major thoughts: waking, dream and deep sleep. It supports those 3. The mind remains the same. These 3 states come and go. It's supporting. Within the waking mind supports all the stimuli of the waking coming and going. Without the waking mind, it is not possible. Dream mind also supports all the thoughts of the dream. But that which is only a phenomena, we have taken it to be real. That which is real, that we are not accepting. That is me, that is the self, that is the I, which is that I which is without a thought. I am the support of everything. I am not the supported. As we come closer and closer to our true being, this disposition that I am the supporter of everything and I don't need anyone's support, this becomes automatically, it starts happening. In this way, Jnaneshwar Maharaj expresses certain key thoughts in this OV. He takes the absolute view of the truth. So he has always been taking the absolute view of the truth, because this Amrutanubhava is his experience of realization. He cannot come down to the relative. He cannot come down to the relative. So he takes the absolute view of the truth, echoing the thoughts from Kathopanishad. Truth is that which does not suffer any modifications. It is vikara rahita. Vikara is modification. Rahita means without modifications. The 6 modifications that the gross body undergoes, asti jayati vardhate viparnamate apakshiyate vinashyati iti षड विकारावत एतत् स्थूlam shariram, which I already explained. Birth, growth, disease, decay, and death are the 6 modifications of the gross body. Are totally ruled out in the pure self. These modifications are not possible in the pure self because pure self is complete. But you said pure self alone is the material cause of everything in the creation. That means in that creation this body also came. So this body is also made up of pure consciousness. Now you're saying the modifications of this body are not present in the consciousness. Yes. Work it out. Work it out. Body is a phenomena. Consciousness is not a phenomena. A wave is a phenomena. Water is not a phenomena. Ornament is a phenomena. Gold is not a phenomena. So what comes and goes? Gold doesn't come and go. So no modification possible. Then where is modification possible? In the phenomena. In the truth, in the pure absolute self, there is no modification possible. We are not giving you an idea. This is you. You are the modification-free self. And if you are living contrary to that conclusion, then you have to study more, you have to contemplate more. You have to give up the attachment to this body and through the body, the world. You have to keep reducing that. How much time does it take? It takes click. But if you want lifetimes, so also, tathastu. This view is brought out by the sentence, where is it? In the sentence, काहीच जय न होणे. Then second point, in the sentence, होयते न स्वतः नेने. He is refuting the Shunyavad, which takes the view that nothing is and therefore ignorance is the final truth. होयते स्वतः नेने. Hoya, being is self-knowing. So this refutes the Shunyavad, that nothing is the truth, that nothing cannot be known. So Vedanta, Ishvara Dvayavad, we are positive oriented. Not only positive oriented, that is the truth. Who does not know that they are? No, I don't know I am, but I am functioning. Live in the fool's world then. Finally, the other extreme, he denies Dvaitavada, where the world is taken as the reality which is independent of the subject. Thus, in this analysis of Ajnana, he demolishes both the Shunyavada and the Dvaitavada. The dichotomy of subject-object is destroyed, because dichotomy of subject-object is also a phenomena, and the Shunyavad, that nothingness There is nothing after the world becomes unmanifest. There is nothing. Therefore, that nothing is the truth. This only happens here because the seeker or those who propagate this type of philosophy, their attention is only on the unmanifestation. Their attention is not on the transcendence. So they removed the world which is waking and dream, and what remains behind is nothing, emptiness, absence. Until here is their inquiry. But they don't come to this point that, hey, as much as waking is an experience, dream is an experience, sleep is also an experience, because they are all only temporary. Who knows them? I know them. I am transcendental to all the three states, the waker, dreamer, and sleeper. They don't come to this point. Don't make that mistake. And in our next class, we'll see what Jnaneshwar Maharaj says to reiterate these points and give us, what does he say here? Everything that we have studied before, he is going to say again. We studied that in Ramana Gita, we studied that in our other Upanishads and present Upanishad, we have studied in our Dakshinamurti Stotram. Here is yet another reminder by Jnaneshwar Maharaj in the next OV, but we'll look at it in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.